Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly with nationwide 5G because Cricket is on the AT&T network. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we welcome you in live here on a Wednesday, the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. We are live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, live on the Justin Kinner Show YouTube channel, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, and, of course, 1410 Wing AM. I am on the road today. We are at the Nutter Center. I had a Wright State's quarterfinal matchup coming up later on at 7 o'clock, the tip-off. Cleveland State going to be here at the Nutter Center for the Raiders' final home game of the season. Again, it's tournament action, as good of a season as Wright State has had, obviously finishing the season as regular season champions. When you're a mid-major team, it all comes down to this conference tournament. You play this conference tournament with the hopes of winning it to punch your ticket to the NCAA tournament, but also at the same time, if you don't win your conference tournament, the Raiders season, even after a first-place finish in regular season championship, their season could be done after tonight. But I don't think that's where this is headed. Wright State, Cleveland State, we'll have that for you coming up later on tonight, 7 o'clock, the tip-off right here on 1410 ESPN Radio and our sister station, 101.5, The Fridge. Well, we've talked a lot of baseball, but now I could tell baseball's here. Now I could tell that it's officially, Reds season, because we're talking about Reds injuries. We're talking about Hunter Greene. Stop me if you've heard that one before. And I see people just literally losing their minds over Hunter Greene and this injury that was announced earlier today. I found it interesting that, there's one comment about that Hunter Greene made about this injury that I want to talk about more in depth coming up here in a bit. We'll get to that coming up here shortly. More on the Trey Hendrickson debacle in Cincinnati as the Bengals just let him go outright. They did not slap the franchise tag on him. And one of the reasons, according to Bengals reporters, is to take the money that they were going to spend on Trey Hendrickson and spread it out throughout the rest of the roster. And I'll tell you why that sounds like a good idea, but also kind of silly if you're the Bengals, because you have money to spend. We'll get an update on Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology report. We'll take a look at Ohio State, Wright State, the Bearcats, Dayton, all that. We'll have that coming up for you here around the corner. Plus the Reds, more on the Reds I want to dive into, because Matt McClain is quietly having the best spring of any player in baseball. And I never know what to do with spring training stats, but that's where we're at this point, and that's what we'll focus on more coming up here in a bit. All right, let's talk about it. Hunter Greene. I had a chance to catch up with Hunter Greene at Reds Fest. I'm a Hunter Greene fan, but at the same time, I do get frustrated with his lack of availability. When he's available, when he's out there, he's not just the Reds' best pitcher, but he's one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. It's a problem, since he's been drafted by the Reds, 6-7 years ago, the guy has never gone an entire season without spending at least a month on the IL. I mean, if you go back to even his time with the Dragons, he couldn't make it through a season with the Dragons without having to go on the IL. Every year Hunter Greene has been hurt. Every year Hunter Greene has at least missed at least a month. Every year he has missed at least a month of the season, which it's a long season. I get that. But again, this is a guy that the Reds theoretically could have given big dollars to because that's the kind of talent that he is. And luckily, they did not have to give him that money. We'll talk about that deal more in depth coming up in a bit. Hunter Greene had this to say regarding his injury. He said, and this is the problem I have with it. He said, I had this toward the end of the season last year in my final 5 or 6 starts. I had elbow discomfort. It was a playoff push, so I pushed through it. I felt fine in the offseason. I got an injection about a week before spring training starter. The discomfort came back. I've been managing through camp so far. We're going to check it out and get it looked at. It makes sense to do it now. I know I have bone spurs. What? So this is an injury that we never heard about. Not that, again, they don't owe us that, but we didn't hear about this injury last year. Okay, we didn't hear about this Hunter Greene injury last year. We just heard about all the other injuries. But it kind of makes sense after he got his behind handed to him in that game against the Dodgers. Look, there's no shame in losing to the Dodgers, but there was a little shame when that's your ace, when that's your Cy Young caliber pitcher, when that is your number one guy getting shellacked like that. And then you find out that, it's not just because it was nerves or he didn't have his best stuff that day. It might be because he's injured. Hunter Greene hasn't looked great in spring either. So there's the other aspect of, when he got rocked last week. Again, it's spring training. Didn't make anything of it. Not going to overreact to it, but I am going to overreact to it now because it sounds like, okay, some of his struggles have come from, he's banged up. I mean, look, I had this this is Hunter Greene's quote and comment. I had this toward the end of the season last year in my final 5 or 6 starts. One of those final 5 or 6 starts was that, wild card game against the Dodgers when he got absolutely pummeled. He got pummeled in spring training. And now, of course, he's going to get a second opinion. And anytime you're getting a second opinion, it's because you didn't like the first opinion, and you hope the second opinion is going to overrule the first opinion. So my guess is we're going to be without Hunter Greene. We being the Cincinnati Reds, us Reds fans, we're going to be without Hunter Greene. I thought was the opening day starter. That's no longer going to be the case, most likely. I think it would be silly of the Reds to, kind of fast forward through this. Look, I will say, the one area that the Reds can afford an injury on the most is their starting pitching. I think their starting pitching depth is pretty phenomenal. I mentioned this last year. There was a month and some change that Hunter Greene was out, that the Reds did not have Hunter Greene. And I said, respectfully, it's not that you would want Hunter Greene out there, but I don't think there was a stretch where it's like, man, if we had Hunter Greene, we would have been fine. Andrew Abbott statistically was the best pitcher that the Reds had last year. Andrew Abbott was the Reds' best pitcher in 2026 or 2025. And honestly, I see it trending towards him being their best pitcher in 2026 as well, with big pushes from Nick Lodolo and, of course, Chase Burns, who I'm excited about to see kind of what major steps he takes. Now, again, if you're going to be without Hunter Greene for a long period of time, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, of course, Chase Burns, Brady Singer, who you got in the trade last year, of course, for Jonathan India, and then, of course, Brett Lauder, who is healthy after missing all of last season. The depth is there. Remember all the talk about potentially, MLB's Mark Sheldon had come out and said, hey, that there's a possibility that you could see Chase Burns coming out of the bullpen, which I kind of like the idea of that. Again, he's going to be on an innings count, so it's one of those where if he's going to be on an innings count, you might as well start him in the bullpen so that he's not getting heavy usage early in the season. But also, if there's a big injury to the rotation, you could obviously throw him in there, and he'll be fine. And that's what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect with this Hunter Greene thing. All I know is I don't expect to see him on opening day, and I'll be shocked if we see him before May. I'd be shocked if we see him before May. And that's, again, just a gut feel. That's without any, that's not what the Reds have said. That's not what Hunter Greene has said. But when you're talking about elbow discomfort going all the way back to last season, I don't get it. The quote I also didn't like from Hunter Greene, he goes, I've been managing it through camp so far. We're going to go check it out and get it looked at. It makes sense to do it now. Dude, it made sense to do it in November. It made sense to do it in October. It made sense to do it the day after you got your ass kicked by the Dodgers. That's the day that it made the most sense to go do it. Why are you waiting until March 4th? Opening day is this month, which is crazy that, we talk about that all the time, March being the month that everything, gets underway, but I just don't get it. Is his UCL okay? I mean, who knows? Does he feel like he'll miss the start of the season? This was Hunter Greene's response. Hunter Greene said, I don't know. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm looking forward to if something has to be done. It's early, and we'll get it out of the way quick and can have the big chunk of the season left. Dude, I'm ticked. This is mismanagement on Hunter Greene's part and the Reds. If there was elbow discomfort going back to the last 5 or 6 games of last year, there was reports coming out that after he got hit pretty good by the Dodgers, people were saying he was tipping his pitches, and I was rolling my eyes at that. I'm like, well, if the Dodgers players could see that he's tipping his pitches, how come there was nobody in the Reds clubhouse that could see that he was tipping his pitches to get him to, I don't know, stop tipping his pitches? But I don't think he was tipping his pitches. I think the mofo was hurt. And you look at what he got hit pretty good. I think it was late last week in his start in spring training. He got hit hard. I think he gave up 3 runs early in that game. I mean, he got hit pretty good early. And it's spring training. But I chalked it up to spring training. But now that this is coming out that he has elbow discomfort, that's a problem. And like I said, it's not like it's elbow discomfort that started after his start the other day. It's elbow discomfort that went back to last year in the final 5 to 6 games. And he's saying it like it's a badge of honor. Hey, we were in a playoff push, and I wanted to fight through it. That's awesome, my guy. I have no problem with that. I have no problem if he was even hurt against the Dodgers, and that's why, and he wanted to go out there and tough it out. I respect that. What I don't respect is knowing you had elbow discomfort over the last 5 or 6 games of last year, and you're just making it sound like, well, now's a good time to get it looked at. No. October of last year was the good time to get it looked at. Ron Howard, by the way, again, we're live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. You can message into the show on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Ron Howard weighs in the chat. Another Strasburg. It's kind of trending that way. Ron Howard also said, I bet it don't hurt when he's counting his money. That's the thing, Ron. I don't care about his money. He's actually on a very good deal. The Reds have him at such a good deal that they're not wasting money on him. Not yet. What up, Jesse? Jesse says, elephant in the room. Why was this not addressed months ago? Oh, yeah, we're on the same page, Jesse. We're on the same page as far as that goes. But, yeah, Hunter Greene asked if he feels like he'll miss the start of the season. Hunter Greene says, I don't know. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm looking forward to if something has to be done, it's early, and we'll get it out of the way quick. How do you know you'll get it out of the way quick? This is the stuff that I really can't defend the Reds on, because who's in charge there? I mean, Terry Francona, I'm a huge Terry Francona fan, but these are the things that shouldn't slip through the cracks when you have a Hall of Fame leader like that in your clubhouse. You mean to tell me that Terry Francona didn't know about his discomforted elbow over the final 5 or 6 games of last year? You mean to tell me he didn't know that? If he didn't know that, that's also a problem. If he knew it and nobody thought to suggest, hey, maybe get it looked at now. I mean, I talked to Hunter Greene at Reds Fest. He said he was healthy. Everything was fine. Obviously not. Obviously not. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. The Red Spring training action is going on now, but we wanted to do the show today because Wright State tournament action coming up later on tonight. Cleveland State, 7 o'clock. The tip-off, 6:45 pregame coverage. We'll have that for you right here on Dayton's Radio, home of Wright State basketball, 1410 Wing AM. Tommy Collins, shout out to Tommy. He's back in the studio. If you want to give us a call, 937. Tommy, if you can unlock I think I unlocked the lines, but unblock the lines, and we'll go ahead and get some calls coming in. 937-518-1410. 937-518-1410. You can call or text into the show. Your thoughts. Hunter Greene. Should the Reds shut him down? Even if the second opinion comes back that everything's fine, should he be the starter on opening day? I say no. Shut him down. Make sure that elbow is absolutely 100% healthy, because I agree with Hunter Greene. I just hate the timing of it. You knew you were injured going back to last year. I agree with him when he says, hey, if you're going to have elbow discomfort, now's the time to have it. You have time now to get some things done early in the season, put it behind you, whatever. Man, this is a problem. This is a problem. It just looks like it's not being handled correctly. 937-518-1410. We'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 Wing AM.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast has a flood watch in effect through 1 p.m. Patchy fog, 55 tonight. Showers, patchy fog, and 67 tomorrow. Chance of showers Friday and 76. I'm Rick Shrepp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
1410 Wing AM, Dayton's ESPN Radio, powered by
the ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at onnradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Springtime is here, and you know what that means. It's time for mulch madness. Did you know that too much mulch is bad for trees and shrubs? 2 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more and you risk causing roots to grow up and around trunks, which increases unhealthy stress, shortens tree life, and even keeps moisture from getting down to tree roots. To find out more about mulch madness or to find a certified arborist near you, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When we make time to read with kids, children get the message that reading is important and fun. When we read books that have characters of all races, backgrounds, genders, and abilities, students can discover their own voices and learn from the voices of others. I'm Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing. As we take part in Read Across America celebrations this week and all year round, please join the OEA in celebrating our nation of diverse readers so we can set up all Ohio students for success.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's 3:17 here in the Miami Valley. It's the Justin Kenner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. Before we pick up with this Reds talk, I do want to give a shout out, of course, from a high school basketball perspective on the girls' side, Kayla Thornton from Fairmont. Kayla Thornton from Fairmont is one of a few finalists for Miss Basketball, which will be announced next Monday on the 9th. But she's one of the only local players to be named to the finalist list. Kayla Thornton, again, 5'8" senior out of Fairmont, led the Firebirds to a 22-0 season. They're the number 1 seed in the Southwest District Division I tournament. She's the GWAC Player of the Year and Southwest District Division I Player of the Year. She averaged a league-leading 18 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, along with 4.5 steals a game. She shot 48% from the field and nearly 30% from three and 73% from the free throw line. She will play college basketball at Akron. But if Kayla Thornton ultimately does win Miss Basketball, she'll be the first player here locally to win it since, well, again, another player from Kettering Fairmont, of course, and Madeline Westbeld back in 2020. So hopefully she wins it. Again, we'll find out. That'll be announced next Monday. Nonetheless, high school basketball, tournament basketball is ongoing right now. Again, at UD Arena. UD Arena, the Nutter Center where I'm at now, Vandalia Butler. We'll be crowning some state champions in girls and boys basketball coming up. Look, Tim Street's a good friend of mine from the OHSAA. It's not his decision, so I always tell him, I go, hey, when I complain about this stuff, it's not directed at you, but I hate it. I hate that the state tournament's at Vandalia Butler High School, and I always tell people that work at Vandalia, it's not a shot at anyone that works at Vandalia. It has nothing to do with Vandalia. It would be any high school. I don't think a state championship game should be played at a high school unless unless all state championships are played in high schools. Okay, whatever. Trent Arena, to me, if you're going to be playing these high school, state championship games, I have no clue why. And again, I'm speaking out of turn here because I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe Trent Arena is being used. But in the next couple of weeks, because they went from 4 divisions to 7 over the last couple of years, it's just been a headache for them to be able to find locations to, you can't crown all the champions in the same spot. And that's a problem. All the champions technically will be crowned, from my understanding, at UD Arena. It's just a lot of the semifinals, the Final Four. Some of those games will be tipped off and played at UD Arena. That's a problem. A friend of mine, Michelle, she coaches volleyball over in Columbus, and she was so excited. Olentangy Orange, and they finally made it to the state tournament for the first time. Again, volleyball and basketball, the same thing. They're same headaches they've run into with where to put all these tournament games. And all state championships, the semifinals and finals were here at the Nutter Center. That's a big deal in volleyball to get to the Nutter Center to play, your state championship in volleyball. And they finally made it for the first time in school history to the state tournament, and they put them out at Vandalia Butler High School. Again, I want to keep emphasizing, I am not trashing Vandalia Butler High School. It would be the same thing if it was at Fairborn or anywhere else, okay? I'm just saying the state championships, so these state semifinals and finals should be played in these Division I arenas, in my opinion. Division I college arenas, at the Nutter Center, at UD Arena, at the Shot. I know everyone. I'm in the minority on that. I grew up going to state tournament games at the Shot. I love that. That was also during a time where the talent in Ohio was way better. They didn't have a problem, filling up the Shot. I'm not saying that it was sold out, but I know attendance figures for the Shot was getting lower and lower down the stretch there. But I also feel like the talent in Ohio was also being kind of watered down because of these prep schools. A lot of the top talent in the state of Ohio was leaving the state of Ohio to go play for these prep academies, the IMGs and others. So, we love to fly into the Hoop High School Basketball Showcase, but those showcase academies is honestly kind of what has not just impacted the state of Ohio, but many states when it comes to watering the talent pool, nonetheless. But yeah, when I grew up, the Shot was the place. You wanted to play on the floor that you watched Ohio State play on. I still don't think that high school kids grow up saying, man, I dream of playing for a state championship at UD Arena. I don't think that they do that, but I sure as heck think that they would prefer to play at UD Arena or the Nutter Center over a local high school. That's my only complaint. I'm happy for these kids and these schools that are, we're going to be crowning some state champions in the next couple of weeks. I feel bad for the schools that don't get to play at the Nutter Center or at UD Arena when it comes to the state semifinals or finals. Because I've talked to many coaches, and coaches, they're not happy about that. They weren't pleased with that. So we'll see what ultimately happens. Nonetheless, we're fortunate to have the state tournament here in Dayton. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about it from the kids' perspective. I know how big of a deal that is to get to play in the state semifinal or final, at Ohio State or UD Arena or here at the Nutter. It's not the same when you got to run out on a high school floor. And Trent Arena, I would love it. I mean, I have no clue. I have no clue why Trent Arena is not used. Vandalia Butler High School. I've called games there before. It's not a bad spot. I kind of like some of those older gyms a little bit too. There's a little bit of personality there, but again, it's not for a state semifinal or final, in my opinion. All right, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinder Show. Sorry, I got off on a little tangent there. My apologies. Yeah, the Reds. So we opened up the show because this came out about a half hour, an hour before the show. Hunter Greene. Here's my problem with Hunter Greene, and I'm not being hypocritical here. Hunter Greene's one of my favorite players. But there was an article by Gordon Whitmire that came out last year. Gordon Whitmire put an article out last year about the Reds should truly entertain the idea of trading away Hunter Greene. And he got absolutely eviscerated for it. And like usual, I'm one of those that always seems to take the not so popular opinion and run with it. But I wasn't against it. I don't want the Reds to move on from Hunter Greene. But if I woke up one day and found out that the Reds traded Hunter Greene, I wouldn't be that sad about it. Because I think that the one position that the Reds could afford to move on from a star player because of depth is the starting pitching. And I think that when you look at this Reds team right now, they need a little bit of a jolt. Hunter Greene will probably not pitch on opening day and probably won't pitch the first month of the season and maybe even 2 months of the season. I mean, his quotes right here don't make me feel all warm and fuzzy about him being back anytime soon. But I still think that the Reds are going to be very good without him. And it's a weird thing to say. Hunter Greene being out doesn't impact the Reds. I don't think it impacts the Reds. As stupid as that sounds, as ridiculous as that sounds, I do not think that Hunter Greene being out for a long period of time truly impacts them. I know that sounds silly, but I mean it. And, when you look at the rotation, the depth of it, Andrew Abbott's this team's best pitcher. Is he as talented as Hunter Greene? No, he is not. But I'll take Andrew Abbott over Hunter Greene over the last couple of years just because Andrew Abbott, he's available. Last year, he was statistically the team's best pitcher. Andrew Abbott was the Reds' best pitcher last year, even when Hunter Greene was out there. Statistically the best pitcher, and he was out there. He was reliable. He didn't even get to throw in the playoff last year, which is crazy, especially if the Reds knew that Hunter Greene's elbow, that he was facing some discomfort with his elbow. If the Reds knew that and still threw him out there anyways, they deserved to lose that game. They weren't favored to beat the Dodgers by any means, but you're not doing yourself any favors with bad decisions like that. But from Andrew Abbott, all the reports coming out of spring are just how big of a step that everyone's expecting Chase Burns to make. I'm excited for Chase Burns to see what he's going to do. But, there's been a lot of hot takes out there that within the next, whether it's this season or next, he could be rivaling Hunter Greene. And I'm going to say Andrew Abbott for who's the best pitcher in this rotation. Nick Lodolo is pretty damn good himself, right? Rhett Lauder has been phenomenal when he's been healthy. And then Brady Singer, he's the perfect veteran piece that you need in a rotation that you could just count on him. You can count on Brady Singer. He's a perfect complement to this rotation. That's why I didn't really overreact to the reports that came out right before spring training started about Chase Burns potentially coming out of the bullpen. I'm like, if Chase Burns is coming out of a bullpen, that's a good thing because that means that 5 guys are healthy. Chase Burns isn't coming out of the bullpen as far as I'm concerned because, I don't know when we're going to see Hunter Greene again. I don't know when Hunter Greene's going to pop back out nonetheless. But, yeah, these quotes are interesting just because Hunter Greene does not make it sound like he's going to be back anytime soon. And that's the interesting thing as far as that's concerned. So if you're just joining us again, it's the Justin Kinder Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. Take a look at this. Or listen, I should say. But this is Hunter Greene's comment about the injury. I had this toward the end of the season last year in my final 5 or 6 starts. I had elbow discomfort. It was a playoff push, so I pushed through it. I don't mind a player pushing through an injury. A playoff push. I mean, the Reds hadn't made the playoffs for real. I don't count 2020, as you know. They hadn't made the playoffs in well over a decade. They were finally right there. I don't mind him pushing through some stuff. What I do have a problem with is the fact that you were experiencing elbow discomfort over the final 5 or 6 games of last year, and you did absolutely nothing about it when the season ended. And I don't think he's processing how ridiculous that sounds. He also goes on to say, I want to go out there and compete with the guys. Hopefully I could still make a good amount of starts and not miss a really good chunk of the season. It's Hunter Greene. Of course, he's going to miss a really good chunk of the season. He hasn't played one season without missing at least a month of the season. That's the crazy thing about it at the end of the day, nonetheless. But, all right, it's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We're going to step away for a few moments. We'll be right back. I'm live at the Nutter Center, Wright State, Cleveland State, coming up here later on tonight. We'll be right back.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetic patients here in Dayton are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. The QC Kinetic medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need relief. That's how Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Patrick's golf game is on fire again. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. No pain. All real QC Kinetic patients. The sooner you start treatment, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. Because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetic regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Gem City Water, we're a local veteran-owned company that offers affordable reverse osmosis systems and installs them for free. Get pure, great-tasting water right from your own tap. Visit gemcitywater.com for more info.
Winter weather is here, and our trees still need to be taken care of. Make sure you have a battle plan for anything Old Man Winter throws our way. And for all your tree needs, you gotta call Tackett Tree Service. Tackett Tree Service delivers professional, quality tree services to residential and commercial customers. And yep, here in wintertime, they've got firewood for sale too. Make sure you stay warm and cozy with Tackett Tree Service. Call 7 days a week, 7 to 7, with emergency service 24/7. 937-630-2743 or see Tackett'sTreeService.com.
Hi, Flo here to say that Progressive knows that life can change quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, like when I have to take my ex off my policy.
Oh, sorry. But yes, we can do that.
And can you send them a message and tell them that they have trust issues that they need to work on?
We don't really get in the middle of these conflicts.
Also, can you let them know that I was faking interest in his band and it's probably time to grow up?
I'm not going to do it. Just know that with Progressive, you can easily make changes to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Also, I'm staying in touch with his mom because she's absolutely lovely.
Bad idea.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
That pallet of pavers collecting dust, the beginnings of a garden, those stray fence posts. Are you haunted by half-finished projects on your land? John Deere is here to say, not anymore. Our compact tractors allow you to swap implements easily, and they're backed by the nation's largest dealer network. You always had the right idea, and with the right tools, those projects can get finished for good. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/compact tractors.
This year, I need a change. I need to get healthy, work out, lose some weight, and get back on track. But figuring out what to eat is my biggest issue. I need to eat the right food so that I stay full and have energy all day long. I know the solution: Omaha Steaks. Starting the year strong is easier and more delicious with premium portioned proteins from Omaha Steaks. From handcrafted USDA-certified tender steaks to gourmet burgers, versatile chicken and pork, seafood, and more. They have an unmatched variety of high-quality proteins that everyone loves. And when you deserve that cheat day, and we all do from time to time, they also offer desserts and easy-to-prepare comfort food. Support your fresh start with high-quality proteins from Omaha Steaks. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com, get an extra $35 off with promo code SKY at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code SKY. Terms apply. See site for details.
Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay, too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks, plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, 937-518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. We'll get back to your calls. Look, the Hunter Greene situation with the Cincinnati Reds, I get it. It's disappointing. He comes out, he talks about his injury right before camp. Like I said, my problem with that is if he was injured for the last 5 or 6 starts of last year and the Reds and him didn't get it addressed in that time, but this seems like, I don't know, everyone who's criticizing this saying that they've mismanaged it, it's kind of hard to argue against that, but we'll get back into that talk coming up here in a bit. Again, the Justin Kinner Show, we're live here at Wright State University's Nutter Center. Wright State, Cleveland State coming up later on tonight. Horizon League tournament action. It's like I love conference tournament season, but it's like, when we talk college football all the time, when Ohio State, Michigan gets here, I love that game. But it also signals the tail end of the season. The conference tournament basically signals the tail end of the season. It's a whirlwind. But Dron Simmons, assistant coach for the Raiders, again, former alternate, giving us some time here today at the Nutter Center. We had you on last time. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Justin.
Season, it's already – you were talking before. It's already conference tournament. I don't get it. It went by like that.
Yeah, it goes by like a snap of a finger. But it's like a new season for us. We had a great regular season. Was able to finish at the top of the league. Great for our guys because they deserve it. A connected bunch who worked hard every single day, and then we're motivated. They're motivated as a locker room to come out here during this Horizon League tournament and make special things happen.
A lot of awards when you win. You win the conference. You win the conference because you have a lot of talent on the roster, and a lot of that talent got rewarded. I want to talk about, and this college basketball has changed so much right now that a lot of the teams that have success, they're older veteran players. Mm-hmm. I don't think, with all the talk about your guys' team, I don't think it's talked about enough just how young you guys technically are. I mean, all year it's been about Michael Cooper, right? Michael Cooper. Kellen Pickett wins Freshman of the Year in this conference. And that's not a shot at Michael Cooper, but you guys are winning with 2 true freshmen, not freshmen that redshirted and got to sit out and kind of learn it a little bit. 2 true freshmen. TJ Birch, first team. We'll talk about him in a moment, but he comes over. It's his first real season, getting real minutes. Solomon, a redshirt sophomore. I mean, 2 true freshmen, first and second year players. This is a second year head coach as far as Clint's concerned. This is a young roster. It's pretty impressive what you guys have done, mainly just because of that right there.
Absolutely. And like I said, we have a connected bunch, and I think one of the biggest things in college basketball, especially with all the movement, is being able to have a locker room that loves each other, that can stick together through good times, but also stick together when things are not going as smooth. So whether you're a senior, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, I think the key is, loving your teammates and celebrating your brother's success. And I think that's what our guys have done. And I think that's why we've been successful to this point.
You don't see, even at any level, you don't see true freshmen come in and make impacts that often. Not saying it doesn't happen. It happens. But to have 2 of them do it the way that Kellen Pickett and Michael Cooper did this year, at what point, through the summer and the beginning of the season and even the early stages of the regular season, at what point was it like, oh, man, these guys can play? Cooper, I know all eyes were on him, but Pickett's progression has been pretty phenomenal as well.
Yeah, so Michael Cooper, he hit the ground running. When he came in the summer, he was very aggressive, very confident, in his abilities, but also good with just meshing with the team and not making it all about him. And Kellen, he had some up and down moments during the early parts of the season where some games he may not have played and some games he had, 10 or less minutes. And we noticed that his defensive impact on the floor really made a difference for us. And we just put the trust in him, that we already had in him, but just gave him the longer leash on the floor and allow him to learn through his mistakes and grow through his mistakes. And it's benefited him, and it's definitely benefited us as a team.
TJ Birch. I tweeted out earlier in the season, I was like, you don't go to games to watch guys play defense, but if you were going to go watch a guy play defense, I don't think there's anyone that's more entertaining to watch play defense than Birch. I mean, he talks, he's in your face. And this sounds weird, but he's very good at not fouling. Hopefully, let's just knock on wood ahead of tonight's game. But he's very good at not fouling. That's a skill, right? Like, I know that sounds kind of silly, but like his ability to put pressure on the ball handler, not foul, and of course, the steals. He won Defensive Player of the Year. His impact too. We're always looking at guards at what they could do at the offensive end, as you're a guard. But man, what he does at the defensive end is unmatched.
Yeah, TJ is I call him a pit bull. He's just a straight dog out there. With his mentality, the way that he feeds energy into his teammates, like he turns our team up to a different notch because he's going to set the tone, he's going to set the standard, and the team is going to follow behind. He does a great job of speeding guys up, pressuring them without using his hands. We're always on TJ just about being disciplined, and he's done a great job, and he's grown throughout the season and being disciplined, both offensively and defensively. But if you're an opposing guard bringing the ball up the court, you're going to feel his presence.
Yeah, we kind of because Michael Cooper started the season as leading the team in scoring, got off to that hot start. Birch was coming off the bench, and you're watching what he does defensively. But when that Cooper injury happened and you guys were maneuvering the lineups a little bit, then you started seeing his ability to not just handle the ball. We knew he could do that, but to score in traffic and just the spin moves and the finishes inside in the paint. Then his scoring prowess started coming with what he could do at the defensive end. And he's, a full player. He can play at both ends of the floor at a high level. That's why he looked first team Defensive Player of the Year. That's why he got so many awards the other day.
Absolutely. When Cooper got injured, it was next man up mentality.
Yeah.
We've had multiple injuries throughout this season. Sometimes guys getting sick, and our thing is next man up. And that's why we've been able to be successful, because we're not playing 6, 7 guys. We're playing 10, sometimes 11 guys. So everybody has confidence and knows that the coaches believe in each and every one of you guys on this bench. So when your number is called, let's just be ready. Go out there, make an impact, play within yourself, and your brothers will be cheering you on.
Guys that were on the team last year, Solomon Callahan, Logan Woods, two guys that, they are some of the more experienced players that came back, but because you had an insurgence of guards, it's not just them having to learn to play with them, those other guards having to learn to play with them. They're having to learn to play with those other guards. Their roles kind of changed and shifted all over the place all season long, and it's kind of ironic. You saw the kind of games that they had the last two. It was the experienced guys that had to step up and make plays over the last 2 games of the regular season to get those huge wins to close it out for a 20-win year. It's been interesting watching those two as their roles kind of changed throughout the year as well.
Yeah, for Logan in particular, he's a senior, a guy who's been here for, I think, 5 years at this point already, because he redshirted a year before my time. But, Coach challenged him to really get our program back to winning, and whether that's playing on the floor or being a leader off the floor and in the locker room, because when Logan got here, Wright State was used to winning regular season championships, getting to the NCAA tournament, and during his time, we haven't had as much success as they had during his recruiting time. So Logan has really taken a big step in his leadership and his mentality of just being an everyday guy when things are going good, when things are going bad. And he was rewarded, in that PFW game where we clinched the number 1 seed outright, and he was deserving of that. And the same with Solomon. Solomon had games where he was starting early in the year. He had games where he came off the bench early in the year. And he's probably the most consistent guy, on and off the floor with his daily habits, the way he approaches his work every single day. And same with Logan, he was rewarded, because of his habits and his everyday mentality to just push through no matter what's going on.
The Kentucky game, down 20, and well into the second. It's not like you're down 20, 18 at half, and then you come punch him in the mouth in the second half and come back. You were flat at periods even throughout the start of the second half as well. NKU was missing some layups early, not capitalizing back at the other end, but all of a sudden everything just starts clicking. How many 20-point comebacks have you been a part of, even back to your playing days? That doesn't happen often, but we got to see it against a rival on NKU on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened at least once in my playing career or coaching career, but man, that was awesome to be a part of. Yeah. Just seeing our guys' resiliency, because we easily could have laid down that game and said we don't have anything to play for. We already clinched the number 1 seed, but that's not who our team is. We got a group of competitors who just want to go out there and compete for each other because, with all the movement nowadays, you don't know how many more days you have with this specific group of guys. And, they cherish these moments. And I think that moment was very big for us because even in March, you can still grow. And I think that was a growing up moment for us.
You guys have Cleveland State tonight, a team that has beat you this year, beat you here, on your home floor. Conference tournament, you're the one seed. So sometimes that, what comes with that is the expectation. Everyone just, they're going through. Cleveland State, I mean, the league's been weird this year. You can't look at the records don't matter. I don't care where they fall within the seeding line or whatever. Like the league's been very, very tight this year. On any given night, any of these teams can win. I hate those cliches, but it really, is the truth. Here, just thoughts on this Cleveland State matchup again, trying to get to Indy for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland State is very, very dangerous. I mean, they shoot a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. They are very competitive. They play hard. And I'm sure they feel like they have nothing to lose. So I'm sure they feel like they have confidence on this floor. They've been in here before. And it's just up to us, our guys, our staff, and our fans to come in here and do what we need to do so that we can get an opportunity to go to Indy.
Yeah, I think Cleveland State, they hadn't, before that game here, I don't think they had won a road game all year until they got that one here. So obviously a different team now, but so is Wright State. And that's coming up later on tonight, 7 o'clock. Chris Collins and Jim Brown will have the call for you right here on 1410 ESPN Radio, right here on Dayton's radio home for Wright State basketball. John Simmons, again, assistant coach for the Raiders. We talked about those awards, and I know I'm going to miss some guys here and there, but, guy that you coach for and with, Clint Sargent, he comes away with Coach of the Year, and that shouldn't be a surprise right there. What a bounce-back year after last year. Obviously, things did not go well last year. It's funny because at times it didn't feel like things weren't going well, and then it's like you started realizing just losing those close games and those narratives that kind of existed early even in this season before those were kind of, put away. Just talk about the bounce back year that Clint's had and just kind of to put, learn from his, not mistakes, but learn from the first year of coaching last year and what he's done this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a bounce back year. As a first year head coach, he was learning. We are all learning. We're all developing. And I think in his second year, he took a lot of the lessons that he learned last year and us as a staff, really. But like Coach is a tremendous coach. He's relatable with the players. He helps these young men become men, and that's most important. He manages their emotions very well. He teaches on the floor. He's not coaching. He's teaching these guys, and he truly loves his players. He loves his staff, and he's going to make sure that he takes care of his guys in whatever way they need, whether that's in any way they need, food, a call late at night, you need a ride, whatever the case may be. Coach is there for his guys, and I think it's not a bounce back year. It was a developing year, and he's not done. He's still going up and up the ladder. So I'm proud and grateful to be a part of Coach Sargent's staff because he helps me as well. As a young guy, he helps me become a better man as well. So he's the leader of this program, and we're all following him.
All right, well, good stuff. Again, John Simmons, assistant coach for the Raiders, awesome enough to give us some time here on the Justin Kinner Show. We'll step away for a few moments. Again, Coach, appreciate your time. I know you guys got a game tonight. Again, Wright State, Cleveland State, 7 o'clock. The tip-off later on tonight. We still have tickets available. If you text Raiders to 937-518-1410 while our ticket allotment, while our supplies last, we'll start shooting those tickets to you right away. We want to fill this arena up tonight to help get the Raiders to Indy for semifinal action on Monday. But text Raiders to 937-518-1410. Nonetheless, Coach Simmons, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. More of the Justin Kinner Show when we come back.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetic patients here in Dayton are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. The QC Kinetic medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need relief. That's how Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Patrick's golf game is on fire again. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. No pain. All real QC Kinetic patients. The sooner you start treatment, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. Because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetic regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The NCAA First Four is back at the epicenter of college basketball. The excitement tips off Selection Sunday, March 15th, with 2 family-friendly events. Lace up for the Big Hoopla 4-miler at Wright State University, and then bring the family to the free STEM challenge at our brand new, exciting location, the Nutter Center. It all leads to the NCAA First Four at UD Arena, March 17th and 18th. The First Four, Dayton and the Big Hoopla. Details at DaytonHoopla.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
The Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Help Center brings the courthouse to the community with its weekly outreach programs to local churches, libraries, and community centers. We help you navigate the legal system. Find a location near you at courthouse2u.com. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Text Raiders to 937-518-1410 for your chance to get some tickets. Not for your chance. It's while supplies last. We will get you tickets. I know we've already given, I think we've given 8 pair out. If you, again, 937-518-1410. We'll continue to send out tickets throughout the remainder of the show. Wright State, Cleveland State coming up later on tonight. 7 o'clock to tip off. If Wright State wins, they'll get to the semifinals of the Horizon League Championships next Monday. at Indiana Farmers Coliseum, or it's Cortiva Coliseum, whatever the heck they're calling it nowadays. But nonetheless, it's the semifinals next Monday. Wright State won the regular season championship, and they're looking to get back to the NCAA tournament. And keep in mind, it would be the first time that they get there with Clint Sargent leading the way, who just won the Horizon League Coach of the Year. Okay, we'll talk more college basketball coming up here in a moment. We'll talk some NFL coming up here shortly as well, as far as the Trey Hendrickson conversation is concerned, because there's more reporting that came out today as the reasoning for why the Bengals did not slap the franchise tag on Trey Hendrickson. You know what? I guess we can get into that because I'm kind of over this Reds conversation. It's a little depressing, to be quite honest with you. The fact that Hunter Greene was experiencing some freaking elbow tightness and discomfort over the last 5 or 6 games in 2025, including the Reds playoff game against the Dodgers. What's really annoying about that is the fact that he said that he started experiencing some of that discomfort last year, and yet they did absolutely nothing about it. He's experiencing it again. They did nothing in the offseason to address this, and now they're addressing it, and Hunter Greene is saying ridiculous things like, well, I guess now's a good time to do it, early in the season so that he could be back by a playoff push. I mean, what are we doing? Now's not the time to do it, especially if the alternative was getting it done in November. But no time like, it is what it is. And someone said earlier, too, that, what a waste of money. No, Hunter Greene has not been a waste of money. Hunter Greene, if you're paying him the $35-40 million a year, if you're going to be paying him top premier pitching money and he's missing games like this left and right, then that's a huge loss right there. But the Cincinnati Reds gave him back in 2023 that 6-year extension for $53 million. It was a $53 million contract extension. It includes a $21 million club option for 2029. However, it pays him on average they're going to be paying him $8 million this upcoming season. $8 million this upcoming season is what the Reds are going to be paying Hunter Greene. And 8.5 or 8.33 to be exact. I'm not saying that's a little bit of money, but it's not like they're, for him being an ace and being a Cy Young caliber pitcher, he could be making, especially after already getting an extension, he could be making what some of the top pitchers in baseball make. Then that would be a huge problem. I just don't view this as much of a problem as what everyone else does. I find it to be I find the handling of this to be more of a problem than anything. But Hunter Greene being out, he doesn't cost you a ton of money. And I honestly think that the Reds will be fine without Hunter Greene for quite some time. I mean, there was a stretch last year where the Reds were playing some of their best baseball, and that was during the months that he was out. He misses a month or more of the season every year. He has not played one season this year where he has not missed at least a month. I'm whatever. It's frustrating. I'm a Hunter Greene fan, but I am tired of constantly sitting back and just getting my hopes up, and then to let his injury status get me all worked up. I ain't getting worked up anymore. Andrew Abbott's my guy. He's my favorite. He's my favorite Reds pitcher at this point. Chase Burns has a chance to be the face of this rotation, to be the ace when it's all said and done. It may sound like I'm kind of giving up on Hunter Greene. I'm not really giving up on Hunter Greene. I'm just not. I'm not putting all my emotions and hope into the Hunter Greene basket, because if the Reds make it to the playoffs, there's a good chance that he won't be healthy anyways. So I'm looking forward to watching Chase Burns. I'm looking forward to watching, everyone like that. Sorry, I got distracted with the text that came in. My bad. I'm looking forward to seeing, Andrew Abbott. I think Andrew Abbott had a humongous year last year, and I think that's who should be the opening day pitcher. A lot of people are going to vote for Chase Burns to be the opening day pitcher. To me, I think Andrew Abbott deserves it. He was my number one pitcher last year, and I think he's going to be their number one pitcher this year. Even if Hunter Greene comes back and is finally healthy at the midway point of the season, Andrew Abbott is the real reliable arm in this rotation. Simple as that. Chase Burns has maybe by the end of the year, Chase Burns is the ace of this rotation, but I'm over the Hunter Greene injury stuff. I'm over it. I'm absolutely over it. Last year, again, this is me not talking about it, by the way. If you remember, I just said when I opened this segment, oh, you know what? We're going to talk about, Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals because I'm over this Hunter Greene conversation, but now I'm ticked off and now I'm going to talk about it. If I'm the Reds, people ripped Gordon Whitmire last year whenever he, for the Inquirer, when he came out and said that the Reds should potentially look to trade Hunter Greene. You absolutely should look to trade Hunter Greene. And you may have waited a little bit too late now because it's another year, it's another injury. And every time you enter another season and he experiences another injury, his value continues to depreciate. It continues to drop more and more and more. More and more and more. Hunter Greene is going to make $8.3 million this upcoming season. If they would have traded him last year, they would have gotten so many elite prospects back in return. Maybe they could have gotten a power bat outside of just Eugenio Suarez in return. So I think that the Reds messed up by not trading Hunter Greene. I like Hunter Greene. I think they should have traded him. Oh, you're only saying that because he's hurt. Yes, I am. Because he's hurt again and again and again. And this Reds rotation is freaking phenomenal, even without him. I think the Reds are going to be fine. As dumb as this sounds, I said it in hour one. I get it. He's your ace, But I honestly, you look at Andrew Abbott, you look at Nick Lodolo, you look at Chase Burns, you look at Rhett Lauder, you look at Brady Singer. Guys, this team has what it takes. They're fine. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. 937-518-1410. Am I being too harsh about Hunter Greene? Am I being too harsh about Hunter Greene? I'm over Hunter Greene. If Hunter Greene is not healthy to start the 2026 season and he can't go on opening day because he had arm discomfort over the last 5 or 6 games of the 2025 season and the Reds did nothing about it, I'm over it. I'm over it. Next, trade him. Get prospects. Start planning for the next rebuild here in the next couple of years. In fact, if you do it now, you may not have to rebuild in the next couple of years because if you trade Hunter Greene now and get prospects and let those prospects develop while you're winning games with this winning core, by the time it is time to start sending Ellie and everybody else off, you're going to have another wave of players that you're ready to call up in the next couple of years. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. I did have a text come in. Let me check this real quick. Sorry, ADD. So my producer, Tommy, texted me saying that the caller, Tommy, is the caller on hold, or did he just tell you to send this question in? The question is, do you think Hunter Greene is thinking about that as well? Thinking about what as well? Tommy, I'm sorry. Did he clarify? So the question is, do you think Hunter Greene is thinking about that as well? I don't thinking about what as well, as far as that goes. That's what I'm curious about. Thank you, Tommy, for relaying that over here. Ron Howard, he says history repeats itself, and the season hasn't even started yet. Yeah, I mean, but again, I know this sounds crazy. Everyone's like, well, that's it. That's already ruined my mood and expectations for the Reds this year. It hasn't ruined mine at all. The Reds are going to win a lot of games because of this starting pitching. They weren't going to win a lot of games because of one starting pitcher. So that's kind of where I'm at. Remember the controversy from a few weeks ago was that the Reds might bring Chase Burns out of the bullpen because of all the depth they have with starting pitching. It all worked itself out. Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo, your 1 and 2 pitchers. Chase Burns, 3rd pitcher. Brady Singer, 4. Rhett Lauder, your 5th pitcher. That rotation's perfect. And it's complemented by a great bullpen. As far as that's concerned. But either way. So Tommy texted back. He said that, do you think that Hunter Greene is thinking about that as well, being traded and because of his injuries? This is why I had a problem. Hunter Greene was really angry at Reds Fest about some of that stuff. Hunter Greene was really mad about some of the offseason headlines that were coming out about the Reds potentially looking to trade him. This is why the Reds probably were. There was a lot of stories coming out. There was a lot of rumors, if you will, that the Reds were shopping Hunter Greene at the tail end of last season. There was a lot of rumors about that. And I think that those rumors weren't just rumors. I do believe that was actually happening because the Reds were already tired of, they love Hunter Greene, but they're also tired of having to deal with his, he's not available more times than not. There's not one season that he has pitched, or there's not one season since being drafted by the Reds that he has not missed at least an entire month of a season. That's a problem. I do believe those reports that the Reds were at least entertaining offers on him last season. And I guarantee you, like I said, when he comes out and says that he had elbow discomfort over the last 5 or 6 starts of last year, I have no clue how that does not get looked into in the offseason. How is it that they're waiting? And then Hunter Greene says some goofy stuff like, well, I guess now's as good a time as any to have it looked at, because there's so much of the season left. No, mofo, if you get that looked at in November, there's plenty of months to have that addressed and looked at before the start of spring training or at least opening day. But Andrew Abbott's my opening day starter. Andrew Abbott's my opening day. My hot take of the day, Andrew Abbott's my opening day starter. Hunter Greene, I'm over. I'm over it. And he's a hell of a pitcher. But this rotation is deep enough that they can withstand a long period of time without him. I don't know what a whole season without him would look like. But, again, read this quote right here from Hunter Greene. I don't know how confident this makes you feel about it. Hunter Greene says, I want to go out there and compete with the guys. Hopefully I can still make a good amount of starts and not miss a really good chunk of the season. And most importantly, the playoff push. Well, the playoff push usually comes in the later months of the calendar year. So if he's worried about missing the playoff push in the later months of the calendar year, that tells you right there, who knows? Hopefully this is quick. I still have to check with the doctors. Should have checked with the doctors in November. And again, I started this segment saying I don't want to talk about it. This is me not talking about it for 10 straight minutes. All right, we'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinner Show. We'll pause real quick. Tommy, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, as you know, the first four tips off in Dayton every year, and we'll take a look at ESPN's Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology report. If his bracketology report, if his bracket, is what we can expect on Selection Sunday, which teams can we expect to be playing at UD Arena? We'll take a look at that when we come back. Wright State, they're in action tonight against Cleveland State in Horizon League action. If they win, they advance to the semifinals coming up on Monday. The Red Hawks remain undefeated after last night's close call. They've had a handful of those as of late, but they do remain undefeated. They have one game left in the regular season, and then the MAC conference tournament begins as well. Ohio State somehow, some way keeps winning. They're back in action as well. We'll talk about them, and the Bearcats somehow might be in the at-large conversation. We'll get to all of that, more college basketball when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast has a flood watch in effect through 1 p.m. Thursday. Showers and patchy fog, 55 tonight. Showers, patchy fog, and 67 tomorrow. Chance of showers Friday and 76. I'm Rick Shrepp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowe's.com/same-day delivery.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Coming this winter, a deal so epic, so huge, so famous, you'll have to taste it to believe it. The Homestyle Bowl Combo. Affordability strikes back, starring famous chicken, melty cheese, sweet corn, mashed potatoes, and rich gravy. The Homestyle Bowl Combo with a regular drink. Now playing for just $4.99 at a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken near you. Famous for a reason.
Save big money on all your projects at Menards. Bring your tile project to life with tech professional quality installation products that turn ordinary spaces into stunning works of art. With premium mortars and grouts, we've got everything you need to install the tile project of your dreams. Quickly, easily, and beautifully. Transform your space today with tactile installation products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cash back app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. Top users make between $200 to $300 per month.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GOOD25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GOOD25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GOOD25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Like if I need a replacement part.
Sure, we can help with that.
Nice. Hey, I just entered this online contest for coolest bike in the world. You think maybe you could vote for me?
Actually, we just do insurance, not popularity contests.
Yeah, I know. But what's your email? I'll just send you the link real quick. You can vote like 100 times a day. They'll never know.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
So what I'm hearing is there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kinner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Justin Kinner Show. Okay, now we're back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410. Tommy Collins back in the WING studios. Give him a call, and he'll patch you out to me here. I'm at the Nutter Center, Wright State. Going to be an action coming up later on tonight against Cleveland State. By the way, continue to text Raiders to 937-518-1410. We're up to 40 entries right now. As soon as this show is done, I'll be shooting those tickets out. So as of right now, we still have plenty of tickets. So if you've texted and haven't got them yet, you're going to get them for tonight's Wright State Cleveland State game. We've had 40 entries so far. We're going to keep on going. I'll tell you once we've hit our allotment number. So 937-518-1410. Keep texting Raiders if you want to attend the game tonight. I'll send you a pair of tickets for that game, which tips off at 7 later on this evening. Let's move over to the NFL. We will get into college basketball more coming up here in just a moment because I want to talk about Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology update after Miami and Cincinnati win last night. Big ones, Wright State, projected as a 15 seed right now. We'll talk about that coming up here shortly as well. But big news, big trade out of the NFL earlier today that had people talking. The Kansas City Chiefs moved on from Trent McDuffie and sent him to the Los Angeles Rams and picked up a 2029 picked up the number 29 first round pick, as well as other additional draft picks in the 2026 NFL draft and the 2027 draft pick. A few years ago, the Chiefs, they did this something very similar with Tyreek Hill, where they took, they moved on from Tyreek Hill and they used those draft picks to rebuild the defense. And that's what they're doing with McDuffie at this point. And, this is what smart, intelligent teams do. When you have a lot of holes on defense, you take one of your best players, and it's addition by subtraction. You move on from that really, really good player to accrue a lot of those draft picks and use that draft capital to start patching as many holes as you possibly can. And that's one reason why the Chiefs were able to continue to keep a dynasty going, even outside of the Patrick Mahomes rookie contract era, something that the Bengals were not truly able to really capitalize on during the Joe Burrow rookie contract era. They kind of squandered that a little bit. They kind of messed that up a little bit. So it's interesting to see how other teams, good teams, championship level teams, how they operate. I'm a Browns fan. I don't know what a championship team, I don't know what it's like to be a fan of a team that operates like a championship team. You guys are Bengals fans. You don't know what it's like to be a fan of a team that operates like a championship team. And I don't care that they've won the AFC North Championship before, as I think we're starting to see that the back-to-back AFC championships, that was like a little outlier period because you got hit with the dose of reality that this poor organization really has not been able to maneuver, the cap ever since Joe Burrow got paid. And it's interesting, multiple Bengals reporters have come out and, in the follow-up to the announcement that the Bengals were not going to put the franchise tag on Trey Hendrickson, ultimately just allowing him to walk and get nothing in return. One of the reasons was that they were going to take the 30 to 35 million that it was going to cost to keep Trey Hendrickson. They were going to take that money and use it to go acquire other starting level, defensive free agents to start plugging some of those holes. But the problem when the Bengals approach to this is you desperately need a pass rusher. You need a very good pass rusher, and the Bengals had that. One reason that the Chiefs were able to move on from McDuffie to go get additional draft picks to continue to keep, to refresh that defense is because they still have a pretty good defense. They still have some solid defensive players on that side of the ball. The Bengals literally have nothing. So you took what was the worst defense in the NFL and you gave away you just let one of your only really good players walk away, and you're trying to spin it as if, oh, well, we could have spent money on him, but rather than spend money on him, we're going to use that money and spend it elsewhere as far as that's concerned. That's BS, and you guys know it. Because the Cincinnati Bengals that's all you guys kept telling me is all the money that the Bengals had. The Bengals have all this money that they're going to spend. I'm also waiting to see if they're ever going to restructure a Joe Burrow contract to free up money like what other championship level teams do. And yet we've yet to see the Bengals do that. I'm not saying that they're not, but there's a lot of question marks out there as far as, are they capable? Are they able to do that? Do they know what they're doing? That's going to be the big question mark as far as that's concerned either way. So 937-518-1410. I found all of that to be fascinating because, like I said, that's a lame excuse. You could have put the franchise tag on Trey Hendrickson and used all of that salary cap money. I mean, heck, the salary cap, the NFL across the league, it jumped up a significant percent. There was plenty of money to still keep Trey Hendrickson and go and add pieces to the defense. They've continued to drop the ball on this over and over and over. All I know is we talked about it yesterday. I'm not going to spend a ton more time on it today, but the Bengals have to hit on at least 60 to 70% of their draft picks and free agent signings this offseason. And I think I'm being generous. I think it needs to be significantly higher. Because I said yesterday that this is basically an audition season for the Bengals, and it's them auditioning for Joe Burrow. I talked to Jason Fitz, who he comes on weekly during the NFL season, but his show kind of made a lot of headlines the week of the Super Bowl because Jay Glazer and some other NFL insiders were talking about the fact that one thing that a lot of teams are hearing is to keep an eye on Joe Burrow. And I don't think that necessarily means Joe Burrow in 2026, but I think it's after 2026. I think everyone's keeping an eye on what the Bengals do because if they squander this, if they mess this up, there's been multiple reports that have come out that said high-ranking officials within multiple organizations have said that they are very confident Joe Burrow, based on what they have heard, is going to want out of Cincinnati if the Bengals don't prove that they can win and build a championship-level roster this offseason. That's a lot of pressure for an organization that still operates like it's the 70s and 80s. That's a big ask for them to all of a sudden just get it right. That's a big ask for an organization to all of a sudden just get it right. And that's going to be the big thing. Can the Bengals just get it right. Who knows? One thing we also talked about on yesterday's show, we'll kick it over to the Cleveland Browns at this point. The Kyler Murray effect. This came out as the show was ending yesterday, so we didn't get to spend a huge amount of time on it. But should the Browns kick the tires on a Kyler Murray deal? As of right now, it sounds like the Browns are going to have an open quarterback competition with Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, mainly because, obviously Dylan Gabriel's still on the roster. But if you just go off of what's on the roster right now, it sounds like that's going to be a quarterback competition between those guys. And again, I don't think any of the guys on that roster make anyone feel like they're about to embark on a 12-plus win AFC North championship season. But we see teams turn it around all the time. In fact, the New England Patriots, who just got to the Super Bowl, I know they didn't win it, but they were a 4-win team the season before making it to the Super Bowl. And the Browns are a 5-win team. So there's that. But like the Browns with that defense, they're a lot closer than people want to give them credit for. That there's, they've already made one big trade to address the offensive line, and it sounds like they're going to be very aggressive in the wide receiver market. One report I read today is that Cleveland is looking to go and acquire a big major wide receiver in a trade or free agency, and of course attack the wide receiver position high in this upcoming draft. You have Jerry Jeudy. Let's say you do go and take a Carnell Tate right off the bat, and then you go and trade for a Marvin Harrison Jr. All of a sudden, that's a very nice revamped wide receiver room. I said Marvin Harrison Jr. because there are reports that the Cardinals, they're moving on from Kyler Murray. They're looking to just hit the absolute reset button like crazy to acquire draft picks, and they would get a nice haul of draft picks for Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if the Browns would do that. Chris Olave is another name to keep an eye out for, out of New Orleans. The Browns have been linked to Chris Olave. They've been linked to Marvin Harrison Jr. And they're also still, that's the very important thing I read today, was that even though the Browns are being linked to guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Chris Olave, the Browns are working hard to try to find a way to get a deal like that done. Even if they do get a deal like that done, they are still very high on Carnell Tate at number 6, because it's not just one wide receiver. It's not just one elite pass catcher that's needed. It's you can get a Marvin Harrison Jr. who you're going to have to pay money to. You have Jerry Jeudy on a solid deal, and then you can go get a Carnell Tate on a rookie deal. If all three of those guys mesh and gel, you have Harold Fannin Jr., who was, of course, the Browns' leading receiver last year at tight end. And then, I think the Browns have a lot of really good playmakers in place, but it all comes down to the quarterback. Is it Deshaun Watson? Is it Shedeur Sanders? I don't think it's either of them. Maybe it's Shedeur. I feel better about Shedeur's, upside with a full season in the system with a coach that really is going to put him in position to kind of take a lot of those first team snaps and reps and all that fun stuff. But with Kyler Murray being available, he does check off a lot of the boxes that Todd Monken is looking for. He wants a mobile playmaking quarterback, and that's Kyler Murray. He checks off every one of those boxes, but does he want to be a Cleveland Brown? You look at the AFC North. You got to play Joe Burrow 2 times a year. You got to play Lamar Jackson twice a year. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think sends fear down anyone's spine by any means, but you're going to play Aaron Rodgers and a Mike McCarthy offense twice this upcoming season. What are you bringing to the table to try to combat some of that? And I don't mean on the defensive end. Are you going to bring a Deshaun Watson or a Shedeur Sanders to a Joe Burrow fight? Are you going to bring a Shedeur Sanders and a Deshaun Watson to a Lamar Jackson fight? I mean, I get it. Shedeur beat Aaron Rodgers last year, but that was a really ugly game between, two questions. I mean, I know the Steelers won the AFC North, but I mean, that was an ugly game, right? But you get Kyler Murray. Look, Kyler Murray's not better than Lamar, and he's not better than Joe Burrow, but I do feel better with the Browns defense, and you revamp that wide receiver room, and you fine-tune that offensive line a bit with that great run game. All of a sudden, the Browns have something to work with there. I like that. Kyler Murray is a proven veteran quarterback that they can get for $1.8 million. $1.8 million to get a starting quarterback like Kyler Murray, nonetheless. The one thing I will say, the quarterback that makes the most, the ideal situation for Cleveland would be for Shedeur Sanders to pan out, because this is year 2 of his rookie deal. I think you get one more after that, because I think you get if you're drafted in the first round, I think you get 4-year rookie deal. It's a shorter deal, but it would make it cheaper moving forward if you have the younger quarterback from that perspective. But Deshaun's expensive. Kyler Murray will be expensive. Let's say Kyler Murray comes in on a 1-year prove-it deal, balls out. Now Cleveland's in a position where, like, crap, now they have to pay him. But if you drafted Ty Simpson or you hold out and you lose again and you do everything you can to use your draft stock to go up and move up to go get an Arch Manning, now you can reset that financial clock. Now, because you're paying Myles Garrett so much and you're paying so much money to a lot of these players like Denzel Ward and others, if you have a quarterback in a rookie deal, you can make those contracts work. I don't know how long you can make those contracts work if you give a major extension to a Kyler Murray or another extension to Deshaun Watson, which I do not see that being the case. But the quarterback situation will continue to be a talking point for Cleveland heading into the offseason. All right, it's 4:22 here in the Miami Valley. It's the Justin Kinner Show. Let's take a look at some bracketology when we come back. ESPN's Joe Lunardi updated his bracketology earlier this morning, and with so many teams in action last night like Dayton, Cincinnati, the Red Hawks, all right, Wright State's in action tonight. We'll take a look and see who he has playing in the first four at UD Arena on the 17th and 18th. We'll get to all of that when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text SPARK to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215-215. That's SPARK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Do you know what's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide? If you guessed Discover, you guessed right, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Gem City Water. We're a local veteran-owned company that offers affordable reverse osmosis systems and installs them for free. Our water is tastier, healthier, and eco-friendlier. Visit gemcitywater.com for more info.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring and has increased the hourly wage of $22.48. That's right. KTH is looking for elite production associates, including press operators, overhead crane operators, and forklift operators. Apply today. KTH offers excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and 401k. KTH is a short drive from Bellefonte, Troy, Piqua, and Urbana. Upgrade your career and be valued by a company that really cares about you. Apply now at kth.net, an equal opportunity employer.
Accountability in elections isn't partisan, and in Ohio, Republican and Democrat teams work together to create confidence in every election result. Ohio's elections are accurate, accountable, and accessible, always. So make your plan to vote at voteohio.gov.
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now, online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Winter weather is here, and our trees still need to be taken care of. Make sure you have a battle plan for anything Old Man Winter throws our way. And for all your tree needs, you gotta call Tackett Tree Service. Tackett Tree Service delivers professional, quality tree services to residential and commercial customers. And yep, here in wintertime, they've got firewood for sale too. Make sure you stay warm and cozy with Tackett Tree Service. Call 7 days a week, 7 to 7, with emergency service 24/7. 937-630-2743 or see Tackett'sTreeService.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we're back into the Justin Kenner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, live at the Nutter Center ahead of the Raiders matchup coming up later on tonight against, of course, Cleveland State. Cleveland State and Wright State. That's a 7 o'clock tip-off, and we'll have that for you right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Chris Collins and Jim Brown will be on the call. If Wright State wins, they'll get back to the semifinals on Monday night and a chance to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament on Tuesday night of next week, of course. But one game at a time, they got to get through Cleveland State coming up here later on. ESPN's Joe Lunardi put out his latest bracketology report earlier today. And, it's interesting because there's a lot of teams, it's been a while, we haven't had a lot of luck in the state of Ohio in recent years with having a lot of teams in the mix, but Ohio State's in the mix, the Redhawks in the mix. Dayton's going to have to win the A-10. Wright State has to win their conference tournament, but they've been, in these bracketology reports pretty much this entire run because they've been sitting atop the Horizon League the entire time. But a lot of local teams in the mix. We talked about it yesterday, but Miami, he has them as an 11 seed, Joe Lunardi does, going up against Kentucky in the first round. Again, this is just a bracketology report, but some of these, I get a little excited thinking about what a potential bracket could look like, and these are the types of matchups that you could potentially see. And the fact that Kentucky and Miami, he has going head-to-head in that first round, how unique would that be? Because we've seen Kentucky out of the SEC. This is a good Kentucky team, but they're not untouchable. And we all know we love those 11-6, 11, those matchups, those 12-5s and those 11-6 matchups right there. That Miami-Kentucky game, a lot of people will be circling that. Keeping an eye on that as far as that's concerned. Ohio State, another interesting one. As far as the first four, we're fortunate to have the first four, the 17th and 18th tip off here in Dayton. He has Ohio State and Santa Clara in an 11 versus 11 matchup, with the winner going on to face 6-seeded Louisville in the second round over in the St. Louis region. So, Indiana and New Mexico, the other 11 versus 11 first four matchup. The one thing I would be surprised as well. I mean, look, if Miami does make the tournament and they are an 11 seed, put them in Dayton. Put them in Dayton. Can you imagine what a Ohio State and what a Miami matchup in the first round would look like? I mean, UD Arena would be absolutely insane if you end up getting that type of matchup. Ohio State and the Redhawks. There's a lot of Ohio. I mean, look, I get it. Ohio State, it's a football school, but there is a lot of Ohio State basketball fans out there. They're clamoring for Ohio State to get back into the NCAA tournament, and then you have the element of the Redhawks. I mean, that would be a very, very tough ticket to get. I tell you that much, and a lot of people would be excited about that one. As far as that's concerned, but just keeping an eye on some of these potential matchups right here. Again, Miami and Kentucky. Joe Lunardi does have Wright State as a 15 seed. going up against Michigan State in the first round as far as that goes. I'm just of the believer, like 16 seed or 15 seed, I really don't think it matters. It doesn't. You're not going to convince me that the 4 1s and the 4 2s, that there's a large gap between all of them. I mean, Wright State's going to be, they're not going to be favored in any of those matchups. So if you're not going to be favored in any of those matchups, you're going to have to legitimately go on like a Cinderella type of run to beat any of those teams. I'm fine with getting a 16 seed and being put in the first 4. I know we're putting the cart before the horse at this point because Wright State still has to win 3 straight games to get to the NCAA tournament. But the bottom line is I've always been a fan of the first 4 and the 16 seed matchups. Every year you'll get the 16 seeds that are paired together. Everyone's going to throw a temper tantrum and say that's not fair. They won their conference tournament. They should be in the NCAA tournament. If you go ask any of those 16 seeds, they are all going to tell you that they are content with making the first 4 as a conference champion. The first 4 is the NCAA tournament. It's an NCAA tournament branded court. It's an NCAA tournament event. It's an NCAA tournament payout, most importantly. Wright State going to face Michigan State in the first round most likely loses to Michigan State, right? You don't have a chance theoretically to beat Michigan State, but you do have a chance to beat another, like a Portland State, who's another 15 seed. You look at the other potential 15 seeds as we go down this list. Merrimack, as far as 15s go, the 16 seeds. If you're Wright State and you run into one of those schools, much rather play one of those schools and get an NCAA tournament win, get an NCAA tournament payout. You get to play, obviously, in your city, so it's theoretically a home game right there. I mean, like I said, 16 or 15, I'd rather be a 16 and being paired in the first 4 at the end of the day. The exposure is better. Plus, when you're in the first 4, everyone is itching and clamoring for the NCAA tournament. Everyone's itching for the NCAA tournament. Your standalone games. 2 games on Tuesday, 2 games on Wednesday, and you're never, there's no other games being played at the same time. All eyes are on those standalone games. When Wright State beat Bryant a few years ago, all eyes were on Wright State and Bryant. That was the only NCAA tournament game going on at the time. If you get that 16 seed and you're tipping off at noon against the 1 seed on Thursday, on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, I'm sorry, people are going to tune in real quick. Oh, look, it's 13-2. All right, well, we could say we watched it. On to the next one, right? Like the standalone. There's so much value to me to playing in the first 4 if you're a mid-major team. I have no problem with it. Adam Seltner in the chat, he messages into the show. Thoughts on Miami possibly being in the first 4 at UD? I said it a little bit ago. I would love it. I saw some Miami fans saying that would be disrespectful. Why do you care? If you're an 11 seed, like for instance, Miami would have to go up against Kentucky. If you just get the traditional 11-6 matchup, okay? If you get the traditional 11-6 matchup, you're going to go up against Kentucky. Good chance you lose that game. But you get the 11-11 matchup in the first 4, and let's say you get paired up with Ohio State. There's a good chance you could beat Ohio State. You could shoot the lights out against Ohio State. Miami against New Mexico. You could win that game. Miami against Santa Clara. I'm bringing that up because these are the other 11 seeds, potentially, according to this latest Bracketology report. I like Miami against Santa Clara, New Mexico. You could win those games. I'm not saying Miami can't beat Kentucky, but I'm just saying I like the first 4 games because you're paired with evenly matched teams and you have a legitimate shot of winning those games versus if you're just thrown out as an 11 and having to go right up against a 6. The winner of New Mexico and Indiana, according to Joe Lenardi, would go on to play North Carolina. All right. New Mexico has a chance to beat Indiana to then go on and play North Carolina. That's a much better sequence of events. You're still going to play North Carolina anyways. At least you get a chance to win a tournament game and a tournament check, and the athletics department loves that, no doubt about it. But yeah, I don't mind. I would love to see Miami in the first 4. I hope that actually happens. And if Ohio State makes the first 4, or let's say that UC plays their way into this conversation somehow because their at-large picture is starting to grow more and more. UC and Miami in the first 4 at UD Arena, bring it. UD wins the A-10 tournament. Would they get as high as an 11 seed to potentially play? Who knows? I'm fascinated by it all, though. We'll see what ultimately happens. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. I appreciate Wright State for having us out. If you missed our conversation with Paul Frischner from the Rebound Rundown, we talked about Wright State. We talked about Dayton, Xavier, Cincinnati. We talked about it all. If you missed that, we have that for you coming up next. Thank you for tuning in. Until tomorrow, this has been the – oh, by the way, if you texted, let me see what our – total is for the entries. Wright State and Cleveland State tonight at 7 o'clock. If you text Raiders to 937-518-1410, text Raiders, we're up to 46 entries. If you texted and Raiders, I'm going to start sending you out the tickets right now. So be keeping an eye out for those tickets. We'll get you hooked up so you can come cheer on the Raiders tonight at the Nutter Center. 7 o'clock, Horizon League tournament action. The postseason finally here. Until tomorrow, this has been the Justin Kinner Show right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-505-7915. 800-505-7915. 800-505-7915.
A is for ABS, B is for BCM, C is for CVT, D is for, don't worry, we're not going to quiz you, because at Carroll Works Tire, we know the auto industry is full of acronyms. But here's the one that matters the most, TIRE. Trust, integrity, reliability, expertise. Carroll Works Tire, keeping Dayton rolling from A to Z. Find us online at c-wtire.com or talk to a real human at 937-461-5441.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Are you ready to tackle this tax season alone? Well, you don't have to. Belmont Business Consultants and Tax Services, with its 30-plus years of experience, is here to help you with business and individual taxes, bookkeeping, and payroll, either in person, drop-off, or through their secure client portal. Belmont Business Consultants in Eaton and Dayton is standing by. Call them in Eaton at 937-472-3300 or in Dayton at 937-252-2217 or on the web at belmontbctxs.com.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, 937-518-1410. We'll get back to your texts. We'll get back to your calls coming up here around the corner. Of course, the Combine, the NFL Combine has come and went. Of course, we'll dive into some NFL off-season free agency news when it comes to the Bengals, the Browns. We'll talk Ohio State football coming up around the corner as well. The shows have been kind of, in and out over the last, week, 2 weeks, this week with all the Red Spring training action, of course, but excited to be with you here today on this rainy, beautiful Tuesday, nonetheless. But again, I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show. Let's transition over to college basketball. And joining us now with the rebound rundown, like he does each and every week, Mr. Paul Frischner. Paul, welcome in, sir. How are you? Happy Tuesday.
Hey, it's March, Justin. It's a great time of the year. It's the best time of the year. It's good to talk to you.
We got a little taste of that look. So I want to start. We'll start with the team that's currently, gearing up for their conference tournament that tips off this week. We'll start in the Horizon League. A lot of teams that we talk about each week in action tonight. We'll talk about the Red Hawks. Xavier's in action, of course. Dayton in action. We'll get to all of these teams coming up. But a game that we got to see over the weekend, I know you were there in Northern Kentucky, Wright State. I know they didn't have anything to play for, but they had just wrapped up the regular season title in the game before. That game, talking with coaches, it was kind of a dangerous game because you got to get their psyche right. You got to get their mentality right because you can't have them go out there on a tough road environment against a rival and have the mindset of there's nothing to play for. Well, maybe they did have that mindset early, but it created one of the more entertaining games of the year, a 20-point comeback for Wright State over Northern Kentucky to get their 20th win of the season, the regular season outright Horizon League champs, and the regular season on a high note, and look to take that momentum into their conference tournament, which for them tips off tomorrow. But what a wild weekend. What a wild way to close out the season for Wright State on Saturday.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Wright State. That was the first time I was able to see them in person this year, Justin, and to be able to watch them come back the way they did. When they're down by 20 in the first half, they're down 18 at halftime, and then they get LJ Wells in foul trouble, and that was really the difference. I talked to Darren Horn, NKU's head coach, after the game, and he was talking about how much of an impact it makes on NKU when they don't have a guy like LJ Wells, who, by the way, could have gone and played wherever he wanted to play last year out of the portal, right? I mean, I don't want to say he could have gone to the top, but he could have had his pick out of the portal. He comes back and has been such an important factor for NKU this year. And then you don't have him for a really important 6-minute stretch from the 10-minute mark to the 4-minute mark in the second half. And because of that, Wright State's able to cut it down. They put themselves in a position to win. And then NKU has had trouble rebounding at times this year. And you saw that at the very end. They don't block out. Amari Bay with the putback. Wright State wins, an emotional win, a gutsy win for Wright State. And to be honest, Justin, I think it kind of works out for both sides because I think NKU probably would have rather played Oakland than Green Bay anyway in the first round. And for Wright State, you come back and you gain some confidence from being able to rally from a deficit like that in the first half. So all the way around, I in a weird backwards way, thought it kind of worked out for both sides.
Yeah, Wright State will take on Cleveland State Wednesday night in the Horizon League tournament. It'll be their first game. They win, they'll get to Indianapolis in the semifinals. Nonetheless, they could actually end up running into Northern Kentucky again in the semifinals if all plays out right. You got a chance to see TJ Birch in action for Wright State. He had a very big day yesterday. He won Defensive Player of the Year in the Horizon League, all Horizon League first team. And he transferred from Ball State, and this is the first real season that he's actually got to play heavy minutes. And Clint Sargent, Wright State coach, he won Coach of the Year. I put it out on social media earlier. I'm like, I don't think people really truly understand what they just did this year. They just won a conference that's an older conference. And with two true freshmen and quite a few first and second year guys, TJ Birch, one of those guys. The portal treated Wright State very fairly this offseason, that's for sure. And you got to see some of that talent for Wright State.
Yeah, you absolutely did. And it's impressive to see a team like Wright State. And I've talked about this before on the show with you about, over the course of a long season, what does it do to underclassmen? What does it do to freshmen? Does it wear you down? I mean, you think about how different the college basketball calendar is now compared to, a few years ago, and you're playing for so long, and to be able to still perform at that level here in the month of March, it's a testament to those guys. And for Wright State, they're hoping that continues for another 3 games.
Paul Frischner, rebound rundown with us. Let's continue on. A team that might be playing their way back into some conversation? The Bearcats, I mean, we've counted them out a lot this year, or kind of given up on them a lot this year. It just seemed like, the sky was falling, very similar to what we talked about last week. But Cincinnati, they just keep getting big wins. Another big blowout win over the weekend at home. Just talk about the Bearcats, and you look at the record, you kind of toss them aside, but are they a team that's really playing their way back into the bubble conversation, do you think?
They have to win tonight against BYU. There's no doubt about that. They have to go 2-0 this week, and it starts with a win against BYU tonight at Fifth Third Arena. But look, if you filter just from that West Virginia loss until now on Bart Torvik, Cincinnati is playing as the 6th best team in the country. I mean, you think back to that after that West Virginia game, I'm sitting there on the rebound rundown saying, maybe it's just best if Wes and UC agree to mutually part ways. Now it's best for both sides. Wes can get out ahead of things and get a different job in the coaching carousel, and Cincinnati can get a head start on their coaching search, and it just benefits both parties. Well, since that game, since Wes Miller, I mean, it sounded like he was crying on the post-game radio show, and I don't blame him, Justin. I mean, an emotional loss where you want so badly to succeed at a program like Cincinnati, you feel bad for the fans, you feel bad for everybody else, and he was very emotional, and that spilled over into the post-game radio show, apologizes to the fans and the courtside club, all of that. Since then, they're one of the best teams in the country, and why are they doing it? Well, they're playing through Mustafa Cham and Baba Miller, who are an incredibly talented front court. I would argue that Baba Miller is one of the most athletic, if not the most athletic players that Cincinnati has had in the last 15 years. And you can go down a list of some pretty athletic guys that Cincinnati has had. Think back to the McCronin days. But I'm telling you what, Baba Miller is special. He's a difference maker, and he's playing like an all Big 12 type of player right now. He probably won't get on the team just because I think wins matter. But right now, I don't think they're a tournament team. They're playing like a tournament team. I think they need to still have a lot of work to do to be in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you look at bracket matrix right now, they're not even on the bubble in bracket matrix, but you win 2 this week, then you start to say, all right, can you go to Kansas City? And conference tournaments don't matter any more than the game in November matters, right? But at the end of the day, as I always say, it's a group of humans on the selection committee that are sitting there watching these teams night in and night out. Could they be swayed a little bit internally by whether Cincinnati should be in or not? The way they're playing right now, they're not supposed to be, but they might be. But they have to win the next 2 days or the next 2 games.
Yeah, Cincinnati in action tonight at home. BYU, that game's on ESPN2. That's a 9:00 tip-off coming up later on this evening. Xavier over to the Big East. Not a lot. They look 14-15. They have Seton Hall in town tonight. That's a 7:00 tip-off later on this evening. But again, it all goes back to Richard Pitino. I think the big headlines coming out of Xavier right now. Reporters trying to back him into a corner with that Providence job, everything opening up. And unless the coach comes out and says, I am absolutely staying, I have no interest in that job, I am not leaving, it just seems until you hear those types of words come out of a coach's mouth, the speculation is going to continue to be out there. That's the big thing coming out of Xavier right now is, Richard Pitino, will he be around long enough to continue building something at Xavier, a program in which he says he wants to win a championship there?
Yeah, so last night I was at his radio show, and during the fan question segment of the radio show, a nice older lady came up and took the microphone and said, Richard, essentially, I think her quote was, I forget exactly what she said. I don't want you to we don't want you to bounce, or it was a very funny way that she was phrasing, essentially, please don't leave again, right? I mean, Richard, you've only been here 1 year. Don't leave. And he addressed it for almost 3 straight minutes on, hey, look, I'm not going to leave after a 14 or 15 win season. There's a lot more I want to accomplish. I want to win a championship at Xavier, all of those things. I do, on one hand, understand the speculation just from when you think about it logically. And I know Xavier fans are probably thinking, the coach left last year, Chris Mack left. You've had coaches forever leave. So you have this trigger warning as soon as you hear, is my coach going to leave? The walls go up. No way, please, no, not now, not like this. But if you just think about it logically, he went to Providence. He's a Providence alum. The reports have been that Providence had maybe double or close to double the NIL that Xavier had this year. He's a Northeast guy. Like, just logically, it kind of made sense that those rumors would start to swirl, especially with Kim English likely being fired at the end of the season. But on the flip side, Justin, it sounds like Xavier is going to almost double their NIL resources from this current season going into the upcoming portal season for next year. And you do that, you give Richard Pitino everything that he needs to win at the Big East level. And then the other thing for the Providence side, you'd have to think about buying out Kim English, buying out Richard Pitino, paying Richard Pitino, and then putting a roster together. I mean, you were talking about maybe a $30 to $40 million investment in 1 year. Providence has a lot of money. I don't know if they have that kind of money. So from that perspective, I do think I fully believe that Richard Pitino will be the head coach at Xavier next year. He's not going anywhere this offseason. And he's going to have the NIL resources to put together a really competitive team next year at Xavier.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's not a Xavier problem. It's just a circumstance that, it's a perfect storm of, oh man, like you got a great coach and last year, after losing Miller, and then sure enough, after 1 year with Pitino, then the one job that you would almost have to circle and be worried about is actually opening up. And that's what a lot of Xavier fans will be keeping an eye on, nonetheless. But it's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Paul Frischner, the Rebound Rundown, joining us now. Let's go over to the MAC, the number 19 team in the country now, the undefeated 29-0 Redhawks. They're at home tonight. Seems like they're always at home. They're at home tonight, which is a good thing for them. But they have Toledo in town. They are a 7.5-point favorite. And, man, they're the biggest story in college basketball. We talk about it every week, but I